The Try That in a Small Town podcast is powered by eSpaces, redefining co-working, exceptional office space for every business. At eSpaces, we offer more than just office space. We provide premium private offices designed for focus and growth. Located in the heart of Music Row, our fully furnished offices, private suites, meeting rooms, and podcast studio give you the perfect space to work, create, and connect. Ready to elevate your business? Book a tour today at espaces.com.
Neil is a scratch golfer, so we've got this challenge going on where we're all going to take him on. The three of us best ball against him. He's an amazing golfer.
He's a little better than us.
He did miss a putt today.
I missed a 4-footer. I was playing in match play at our club today.
Dude, I heard about this.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
It's already made it out to the West Coast.
Neil?
That's amazing.
You're Neil the shitty scratch golfer?
What an absolute joke, right?
You know when you're hearing an AI song, and sure, like maybe it'll get super, super good, but there's something about the human connection, and that's so important to audiences. They need to know that what they are hearing isn't just another human, but it was written by another human. So Tully's son, Keller, who you guys know, phenomenal actor, right? And he's going through this right now. And like, I'm here like whenever he needs to chat about any of this, because like the kind of thickness you need to have in terms of your skin is so insane. It's so insane. And if you have an ego, like, it's actually amazing to me when I meet people in my business who've had success who still have egos, you know, or have the biggest egos I've ever met. Because I'm like, how? Like, how?
The Try That in a Small Town podcast begins now.
All right, welcome back. This is the Try That in a Small Town podcast, coming to you from the Patriot Mobile Studios. TK is very close to me. We got K-Lo, we got Thrash. And I think this is a first for us tonight. This is going to be cool. This is a big time, really big movie star, TV star. I think I looked this up, so it must be true. His movies have grossed over $2 billion. That's what they be, $1 billion. Could have seen him in Hunger Games, Bad Boys, Vikings, Heels. But kind of most importantly to us, he is a BBR recording artist. Alexander Ludwig,
country singer.
He's a country singer.
That's a hell of an intro, guys. I love you,
dude. Is $2 billion real? Because you're rich,
right? Yeah, and you would know, right? Like when you write all these hit songs, all the money comes to you, right? And it's the same thing in my business. When you make billions of dollars, you keep it all.
It's so good to see you, man. It's so good to see you
guys so much.
Yeah,
language,
you, man.
You're the best.
I'm kidding.
He's kidding.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's good.
What kind of podcast
You're good, bro.
Was me and Kurt were talking about how we met, which I still love this story. You know, I'll keep it short, but so we were trying to figure out, was it 2018 or 2019 when we met? 2019, right? That sound right?
That's crazy.
I'm
like
bad at
6
that
years
game
ago.
too. I hate that game.
I think it was before COVID.
It was definitely before COVID, because I was driving from Atlanta when I was shooting Heels to Nashville to work with you guys. So, and that was during COVID, so it had to have been just before.
Yeah, because I remember the label meeting was like right before COVID hit.
Yeah. Well, so tell people the story, because
No, I got to know. That was my question. I have to know how the three of you guys hooked up.
It's one of my favorite stories. So
we're all on Tinder, right? And it's like, I don't need
Here we go.
Of course.
Here we go.
No, it's actually amazing. We were out doing, with Aldine, we were doing some TV show in LA, and we're flying home in the morning or early afternoon, whenever that was, and I'm walking past a Dunkin' Donuts, and I look at Kurt and I said, dude, that is that guy from Lone Survivor, which Lone Survivor is one of my favorite movies, if you guys haven't seen it. But
Great movie.
And I watched it 50 times, so I recognized Alexander right away, and I'm like, God, should I go say hello to him, or how should this work? And we didn't. And then we get to like, the gate or wherever, and he's sitting there with a guitar with his headphones on and a computer working on some tracks. And I said, okay, he's flying to Nashville. I'm going to bother him. I have to bother him. So I walked up to him and I said, I can't remember what I said. I was like kind of a big fan. So I was like, man, I don't want to bother you, but huge fan, lone survivor. And he instantly started talking about country music, like within first 10 seconds. Like it was pretty cool. And then from that point on, like we set a low, boarded the plane, and we end up sitting like right next to each other. So, and it was just awesome.
Alexander, give your perspective of that encounter and Tully approaching you.
Well, he was obviously very starstruck.
Yeah, must have been.
I was. Well, okay. So Tully, actually all of you guys all were wearing black. Tully had his sunglasses on, and I was like, these guys are for sure a band. Like they have to be. These guys are rock stars. And the second he came up to me and said, I'm a big fan of Lone Survivor. Like, obviously, I love when people come up, and I especially love when people come up to me about that movie because that's one of my favorites I've ever done, if not my favorite. I just, for so many reasons, but mostly because it was a true story and it meant so much to I really felt like we did right by that community. And then when we started talking, the craziest thing was Tully goes, and I play for Jason Aldean, and I'm like, who the hell is that? Like Jason, Hicktown was like one of the first records I ever like binged, loving country music. It was so crazy. Like, it's like Jason and Dirks were like the two guys I would listen to on repeat growing up. Like I loved, and in Canada where I'm from, like there's a huge country music scene. And if you play hockey, more often than not, you're listening to country music in the locker room as well. Like, people love country music where I'm from. So obviously instantly knew who Tully and Kurt were. And then, talk about the fact that they wrote, some of my favorite country music songs of all time.
Yeah, wait a minute. What's your favorite Jason Aldean song?
He's putting you on the spot, Alexander.
Here, I'm going to send you 5 titles real quick.
It's funny because it's like he's got, how many number ones does Jason have? Like 30?
30. But who's counting?
Yeah. It's crazy. So like they all mean something different to me. Like there's ones that stick out. Like Hicktown obviously sticks out in my head as being, She's Country. This is like, we talk a lot about She's Country, right? Like She's Country at the time, like nobody was doing AC/DC for country music, right? And it was like this first kind of banger track. So to me, like that was a huge one. I loved Amarillo Sky. I loved Big Green Tractor because it's just such a.
So far, you're failing.
Alexander, you need to understand the question. Neil is fishing for one of his songs. So do you not like Flyover States?
Oh. I love Flyover States. I actually love. I didn't realize you wrote that, Neil. I love that. I actually love that song.
What about Tattoos on This Town?
That was unfair. I'm sorry. That was unfair. I'm sorry.
Did you write Tattoos on This Town?
Yes.
Well? Fuck, dude, you crushed that. I love like. Also, that's just such a good hook. Like Tattoos on This Town. It's just. I could go on and on. I'm a big fan of all you guys, and like but the crazy thing, the backstory here is like for me was. I had been traveling to Nashville after I shot a show I did called Vikings for like 6 years of my life. And I had this break and I was like, you know what? Like, if I don't go now, I don't want to look like I'm one of those people that I think that people's biggest regrets, they're usually ones of omission. I should have done that. Usually if you do something and you like wish you hadn't, it's like, you can look back and you can find a silver lining in it, but I should have done that. That's one that haunts me my whole life. So country music for me is like one of those things where I was like, I'm not going to have that in the back of my head. Like I want to go to Nashville. I want to write with the greats and I want to learn about this community, because they speak to everything that I love and I grew up loving. And then just by some crazy coincidence, Tully ends up sitting, how I remember it was right in front of me.
Yeah, that's right.
So like I was right behind you and we were talking through the space in the seats, like the whole flight. And then I ended up sending you these demos I had made in Vancouver with a friend of mine who at the time was playing guitar. He's an incredible guitarist named Jesse Tucker. He was playing guitar for Brett Eldridge, who became a very close friend of mine. So it was just this crazy coincidence. And then, of course, I get a call and they go, we got to work together. And we start cutting some songs just totally independently, releasing them. Still to date, some of our most successful stuff. And then through that, BMG signs us. And the day I had the meeting with BMG was the day of a crazy tornado in Nashville. Wow. And the sirens were going off and everything. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to, do this. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's like, who cares about a meeting? I mean, people's homes are being destroyed. But at the same time, I was like, this was a big deal for me. So I was hoping I would be able to do it. And luckily it still went through and there we were. And we've been lovers ever since.
Alexander, because when you were coming to Nashville, you were writing a lot with Michael Delaney, who is one of Neil's all-time writing partners.
Been writing with Michael since the mid-'90s.
Dude, he's got such a way with words, man. I love that guy so much. He's a dude's dude.
No, wait a minute. Wait, we're supposed to throw him under the bus. We're not supposed to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much to talk about, and even before we get to your acting career, which is incredible and what you've done, But I was so impressed when we started talking and about getting a deal and let's make a record. Your knowledge of country music and what your influences were, what you liked, and who you knew. You knew who you were as an artist, which is crazy because that's the hardest thing to do sometimes, but we had so much fun and we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Looking back on it now, and I remember telling you, it's not easy,
No.
and it's a frustrating thing, especially balancing two careers, which man, that's a lot. You're, acting and music and the whole thing's crazy, but I don't even know where to go from here. But it's.
Can I ask something while
you're
there?
Yeah.
Because I, first off, honored to have you here and meet you. You're amazing. I'm a huge fan. And researching you was very difficult because you've done so freaking much. Usually it's like, oh, I've got an hour and a half. I can pull your name up. My sweet mother of God, he's done everything. so I'm making my notes and stuff. But I guess I would say and just as a fan and seeing and reading about everything that you've done. And to me, you've killed it in one of the hardest occupations you could possibly choose or choose to do, whichever one, and succeeded at such a high level. Why in God's name would you pick another one that is so incredibly hard? What made you said now that I've been punished and rewarded here, I want to be punished and rewarded. What in your mind makes you want to do that?
Fear. Just I have this ungodly fear that I'll be 80 years old one day and regret something that I didn't do in my life. And that just pushes me to insane. But honestly, I can't take credit for, it's funny, the more successful people I meet in any line of work, you guys included, I think everybody would agree, to me, I'm not a believer of the best wins. I think the people who win in anything are the ones who just stick around long enough for a shot. So the only thing I can really take credit for is just persistence. But I had to get lucky the next guy, and I still got to get lucky, and with country music, you guys see it all the time. Somebody can come in and the next day release a song and be the biggest thing in the world. And some guys, and most stories I know that, is at least 10 years, it's a 10-year town. And I just had a crazy moment yesterday because I love this. I was rooting for this guy so much because he was a little bit ahead of me when I first came to Nashville. And then he obviously continued as I went and did my main career, acting, which pays the bills. And it's something that I absolutely obviously love to do as well, is John Morgan. John has been in Nashville and he's such a talented writer and singer and love the guy so much. And I'm so pissed off because I took a photo right when it switched, but I was listening to the highway and John's name came up. And I'm like, God, this shit is real. Like, I am sure he was kicking himself at the beginning of like, when are we going to get a chance? But like, there he is. Like, there's his song. Like, let's go, John. Let's go. You know. And I went to take a photo, and it like right in time it changed. So I was like, God, I'll get it next time. But that's how I feel about everything. Like, the amount of success that people have in anything, I think people, since the beginning of time have been trying to deconstruct, why somebody is, at a certain level or why someone is. But the only thing I've ever come back to is like, it comes from a pure love and this insane competition with oneself. It's like, I just want to get better for me. I'm doing this because I love it. If I wanted a sure thing, I certainly wouldn't be in like the two hardest businesses in the world to catch a break in, But I also think that the thing about country music that I'm actually really excited about, especially with working with Tully and Kurt, is like the reason behind why I'm doing it is different. Of course, like, you want people to love your stuff and you want to build a community, but like, if your goal is to just be rich and famous, I think you're going to be miserable no matter how successful you get, right? But if the goal is to be the best musician or best writer you can be, I think that is already success. And it's corny and it's said a lot, but it is true. Like, the journey is the destination. It's like, that's what it's about. And I'm just so grateful that I've been able to do, the two things that I love more than anything, short of my friends and family, and make a living doing it, So
you're way too smart.
That's awesome.
You're way too smart.
And you're also one of those guys that you're pretty great at everything you do.
It's frustrating.
I know it. I hate having guys that have their shit together on our show. We're supposed to help.
I got to tell you, like,
people.
After I met you, and about Lone Survivor, I started, watching Vikings, and dude, like, such a great actor. I remember texting you like, dude, you're so great. It's crazy. You're awesome. And then we get you in the studio, and you've never really done. He comes to Nashville, and you've cut some stuff in the past, but you haven't been to town and the way we do it. And he jumps in, kills the game. It's
Yeah, but here's the problem. How do you know he wasn't acting?
Well, hey, but Neil, so this is actually a great question. Because it is a real thing. You have a business in Hollywood where you are paid to act and pretend to be somebody else, but especially country music is dependent on you being genuine to who you are. It's a complete opposite, and the fact that you were able to handle that and show your vulnerability as an artist, I mean, I think it blew both Tully and I in a way. Was there any struggle with that, or did you think, I want to be this kind of artist, so I'm going to portray this? Or was it always just from the heart and you knew that's the way it had to go?
No, there was totally an identity crisis and a struggle for sure. And it happened when I was in the writers' rooms with people who didn't know me, right? Because now we're talking about things that I didn't grow up doing, right? Listen, I love fishing. My dad didn't take me out to fish every weekend. Like, we went skiing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, I grew up in Canada, so there's certain things, like hunting has never been like something that I did religiously, so it's like, there's certain things about how I grew up that aren't authentic. And for me, I know that the only way, especially if you've had success in another career, because I do think it can help and hurt you, especially in country music, where I agree, like, authenticity is everything. Like, what you don't want is like, here's this actor, showing up to town expecting the world, right? So the only way around that, I think, is just like, do you guys ever watch 8 Mile? Remember that movie with Eminem?
Oh, yeah.
There's a great scene in that where they're about to do a rap battle. It's him and Anthony Mackie, and Eminem raps about himself and basically dishes it all out. He basically just shits on himself and just goes, "This is me," and then the other guy has nothing to say. And I think authenticity is just like your only chance. And also, like, it would be miserable. And I see it in my business all the time. I mean, I'm seeing it right now. It's crazy with some people that I know, but like, people who I've known for a long time, loosely, that totally craft a character that isn't who they are to achieve the dream they thought they wanted. And it can work, but I also just think that that's just, kind of a sad way to live, just pretending to be somebody that you're not for so long, and I've tried that before, especially on the golf course. I've been like, okay, you're Tiger Woods, man. You're Tiger Woods. Like, let's go. It just never works for me.
Yeah, me either.
Same.
We're not talking about golf today. Sorry.
Yeah, Neil got humiliated on the golf course today.
There you go.
He did. He was terrible. It was awful. I wasn't there to see it, but I heard all about it.
At least you're honest. Thanks.
It's just the shame of it. Wow.
Wait. What golf course was this?
Well, hold on, Alexander. You have to understand, we're kidding because Neil is a scratch golfer, so we've got this challenge going on where we're all going to take him on. The three of us best ball against him. He's an amazing golfer.
He's a little better than us.
He did miss a putt today.
I missed a 4-footer. I was playing in match play at our club today.
Dude, I heard about this.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
It's already made it out to the West Coast.
Neil?
That's amazing.
You're Neil, the shitty scratch golfer?
What an absolute joke, right? My God.
Crazy.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh, my God.
Okay, next subject, please. Thank you.
I tell you what, one thing I love, when we start making music together, the passion you have for it it's so incredible, and it's your drive. It's amazing, but to back up your career, like everything you've done, there's so much you've done. When did you know as an actor that you thought, okay, I made it over the first hill, I made it over the hump? Hunger Games was a big thing, huge.
Yeah.
And I know like it's a constant battle and struggle to keep getting any roles at that point. But it feels like the last couple years, you've really, Vikings was huge. Bad Boys movies, they were huge. Do you feel that you've made it? Yes.
Something's definitely changed, but in no way, shape, or form. Like, so Tully's son, Keller, who you guys know, phenomenal actor, right? And he's going through this right now. And like, I'm here like whenever he needs to chat about any of this, because like I've been there. Like, it's the kind of thickness you need to have in terms of your skin is so insane. It's so insane. And if you have an ego, like, it's actually amazing to me when I meet people in my business who've had success who still have egos, or have the biggest egos I've ever met. Cause I'm like, how? Like, how? Like, teach me. Cause it's like, it's just, you're just fucking beaten down. And it's just this, like, it can't be that dissimilar from like entrepreneurship, but it's like, it is worse because it's more personal, because it's you, and you say you're playing another character and all this, but it is you. It is personal, right? And it's like, I'll tell you, there's a few milestones in my career that I can point out to where things are like were really big for me. The first one, I was 13 years old. It was a movie you probably never saw called The Secret, The Dark is Rising. It was a big Fox, it was supposed to be a big Fox franchise. But imagine being like a 13-year-old kid booking the role of your dreams. Within a week of getting that, I got shipped off to Romania with my mom, and we spent 3.5 months there. And it was the most wild and incredible experience. And of course, the movie turned out horribly, but that was such a pivotal moment in my life, because I was able to get an agent in the United States from that, and I'm from Canada, right? So like that's a big deal in LA because of that movie. And after that, I booked Race to Witch Mountain with The Rock, and I was like, okay, this is great. And then dead, nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not booking anything. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to college as a student, and then that will get me to LA, and then I can audition while I'm there. So I got into USC through the theater program. I never would have gotten in through anything else. Like, my grades were horrible. until the very last year. And then that summer I booked the Hunger Games. And being a sophomore at USC when the biggest movie on the planet comes out is an experience in its own that in a way, like, it was incredible. And also, like, in another way, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But it was a total trip. And this was a huge lesson in my life. And at the time when I did the Hunger Games, I was up for the lead role opposite Jen Lawrence. So Josh Hutcherson, myself, and one other actor were the top 3 guys. We all auditioned with Jen. Gary Ross was the director. He directed like Seabiscuit and some other things. He's a great director. And we were like, and I felt really good about it. And then I was told I wasn't getting the part, and I was like, oh damn, this, like, it broke me, because I was like, I love the books, and I really felt like this was mine. Why I'm bringing this up is, and I thought Josh did an amazing job, and he was the right choice for the movie, of course. And randomly saw him not too long ago, and he's still the sweetest guy ever. But the reason I bring this up is that at the time, it seemed like what was my biggest loss was actually going to turn out to be like the gift of gifts, because then they offered me the bad guy in the Hunger Games, and I was like, okay, I'm obviously doing this. That's amazing. And then the movie was a huge hit. So I was able to, like, use that as my calling card, but I wasn't a household name, which meant that, like, I still had to prove myself as an actor. I wasn't just getting offered everything. And little did I know at the time, like, that would be the greatest thing that ever happened to me, because I'm not going to lie. Like, after that came out, I was just like, what are you talking about? I'm not offered everything now. Like, doesn't that mean, like, I made it, right? Like, it's done. And then it's like, no, like, you're still going to have to audition. I'm like, what?
I will not.
And it's funny, because, like, what I've learned, this is something I never knew getting into this job, but what I've realized, and by the way, like, if you have an ego, this is a real problem. If you don't, then it's not a problem. You're an actor. You should read for stuff. Like, you should audition for directors if that's what they need from you. Like, honestly, I'd prefer not to. It's just less work. But, like, if they need me to, I will. But I just did a movie, or not too long ago, called The Covenant with Jake Gyllenhaal, and Guy Ritchie directed that. And Jake and I talked about this, and I remember telling him, like, damn, like, I'm so jealous of you, because I felt like you were making films, like, you kind of broke into the business when they were making real movies that people would show up to, like, movie theaters to see. Like, I'm pretty sure, like maybe somebody would go see Donnie Darko in theaters, maybe not, I don't know. But, like, Brokeback Mountain's definitely streaming now. Like, I don't think that anybody's showing up to the theaters to watch that, or, like, Southpaw's probably going to be, I mean, yeah, it's a toss up, but regardless, a lot has changed in the business. And then we started talking about, just how the fight is just so much more than I ever thought it could be. And then way more than that. And Jake was like, yeah, man, like, I still gotta fight. It doesn't just, it's not, and of course he still gets amazing, offers and all of this stuff. But, like, it doesn't mean when you get to a certain part in your career, nor should it, that you get everything you want forever. Somewhere along the line, the group gets smaller, but it's always going to be this. And that's kind of the fun of it. Like, it wouldn't be fun if you got everything, right? It's like, that's the chase. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And you just got to kind of let it go and just trust the universe. And I think it's the same with music. It's like, I know you feel like you have a hit. And if the right artist sings it, it can be a hit. But, I'm sure you've had other songs that you thought, could be and didn't. And it's kind of like, there's something so much bigger than us that we got to just trust and just be like, this is the plan.
Yeah. And I mean, just because you have if we write a hit song, it doesn't give you any leeway to have the next hit. I mean, it's just, you have to keep grinding.
Yeah.
My name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. And then we have 4 principles. First Amendment, Second Amendment, right to life, military and first responders. If you have a place to go put your money, you always want to put it with somebody that's like-minded.
Of course.
I think that's the beauty of Patriot Mobile. We're a conservative alternative.
Don't get fooled by other providers pretending to share your values or have the same coverage. Go to patriotmobile.com/smalltown to get a free month of service when you use the offer code SMALLTOWN or call 972-PATRIOT.
You know what goes great with small town stories?
Original Glory, America's beer right here.
You know, I've been drinking this every songwriting session today.
Man, that clean, crisp taste reminds me of summer nights on the back porch after a fresh mowed lawn.
And they're just not making great beer. They're investing in America's small towns.
Well, it's just like us. They believe in bringing communities together.
Not only do they invest in communities, but a portion of each sale goes to the veterans and the first responders and all the heroes that protect us.
For a limited time, you can become a member of the OG fam and invest in this beer at wefunder.com/original brands.
Join our Original Glory family and help ignite that Original Glory spirit. Hey, what I think is interesting is that, you know, Hunger Games, you were how old?
I guess I was either 19 or 20. I was maybe 20.
So, you're a little older than I thought, but you started as a child actor earlier than that, which in a lot of cases, it seems like, you know, you're a child actor and then that's kind of all you are. Making the transition to an adult actor and having those roles seems like it's pretty hard for some people, but you were able to. Did you see it as an advantage or a disadvantage that people knew you as a child actor?
It was and this is something I talked to Keller a lot about too. It's a huge advantage because starting early is great, and it's a huge disadvantage because if you're, you know, Tom Holland was a kid actor. He did Impossible with, was it Naomi Watts or Nicole? Yeah, it was Naomi Watts. And he's managed to have an amazing career, right? But like, you don't associate Tom Holland with that movie. And I got very lucky because though the movie was and the series was so big, I was only in the first film, right? So it was like I did my thing. That was my role for that movie, and I'm out, right? And then it was like Vikings, and this was strategic, to be honest, because Vikings, like, I knew what was going to happen in success with that character. Like, we knew that Bjorn Ironside was going to be a child, and then he was going to be a man, and then he was going to be a warrior and a legend and a father and a king. And it was like, I saw this, and I think, you know, we had discussions, my team and I, like, just about like when that offer came in, like, is this the right move? And remember, it sounds crazy now to have said no to that, but like, this was some small show on the History Channel. Like, I watched the History Channel for World War II documentaries, and that alone, like, that was it. Like, I'm like, you know, so it wasn't just like a quick, like an easy, let's go do this. It very well couldn't have had the effect on my career that it did. But even after that, you know, it's still like, you know, it never ends. Like, it certainly gets easier. Like, I will say that, like, over time, Vikings was the next big milestone, I would say, after Hunger Games. Like, Hunger Games was great. Like, Lone Survivor was just a cool thing to be a part of that I obviously loved. It meant the world to me. Like, Grown Ups was like, you know, just so much fun. There was just like fun stuff along the way, but there's like milestones in your career. Like, Hunger Games was a huge one. Vikings was a huge one for me, right? And now after that, like, I think that Bad Boys is another big one because it's just such a big scope and scale and a very successful franchise to be a part of, which I'm super grateful for. And I have noticed a shift that, I mean, listen, you get offered more stuff. That also doesn't mean that it's the right stuff, right? So every once in a while, like, I got offered an amazing show called Heels, right? That just came out of nowhere. They were like, we want you to do this. I read the script. I was like, holy shit, this character is amazing. And we did that. But sometimes I'll be offered stuff that I know I can't take, even if I want to, even if I want to work, even if it's an attractive offer, it doesn't matter, because I always made a promise to myself as a kid that, and it's harder when you have children, to be honest, but like, I just know this is the right way to do this, is that like, of course we want to be fine and set up financially, but it can never be about just money. Like it just can't. Like it's got to be about the work. Like I'm an actor and an artist first and foremost. It's got to be about that, and the rest, all that stuff will follow. And hopefully, I'll be able to tell more stories and do more stuff. But like I always said that to myself from the beginning, and I've stayed true to that ever since. Is like, if it ain't on the page, like it's just not. I'm not doing it.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. I wanted to. Did you have a follow up?
No, go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, or so many things I want to ask you, but like on the kids movies things. Was it kind of the same? Like you're all kids, and whether it's out of the Sandlot or whatever, is there? And you're on your first one, whatever. It said, I don't know if you noticed my shirt. You're killing me, Smalls.
That's so good, dude.
I got that for you. But my question is,
I played poker with that guy when I was a kid doing Sandlot.
Did you really?
Yeah,
That's
it was
so awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I was curious. Even at that level, at that age, were there star kids were like, oh, you can't go over there to that trailer, that's so and so, you can't do that, and they keep them protected or anything like that, or were you just normal kids and like, hey, this is really cool, let's go out and act, and then we play ping pong or whatever? What was it like?
I was the latter, right? Like my family, I'll tell you, like, and Tully and Kurt, my family, and like they're salt of the earth people. Like they're just the greatest, and they've raised me with the same values, which just to me it's not even a thing, but it's like you treat the waiter the same way you treat a CEO, the same way you would treat a janitor, the same way you would treat a famous person. It doesn't matter. Like we're human beings, right? But I experienced the reverse of that, right? Where you're on like certain sets and you meet other actors who are in and around your, who are on your job, who expect certain stuff, right? Like I get off on the fact that like, I love that I'm a fun guy to work with, and that, that the crew feels like I'm one of them, because I am. Like my performance is so fucked if I don't have their support. Like I'm so screwed. Like they're everything. It's like, it's like being on the road, right? If you don't have a great crew behind you, you got a terrible sound technician, it's like, it's going to sound horrible. It's the same way with us. So, but yeah, I mean, I've come across that version of it too, where especially as children, I think it's even worse because, listen, there are certain parents, especially that have to be on set, right? And some of them, think that's how it's supposed to be because they read People magazine. They think, oh, like my kid's in Stranger Things. So I'm just using this as an example, by the way. So he only drinks iced matchas and don't talk to him. You know what I mean? Like there's that version, and I do think it's worse as you grow up. You just kind of like don't, I mean, I haven't had a problem ever in my life. I've just seen it, but like I've never actually had a problem working with anyone. I think that I've been warned about certain people. And I've always been able to find some sort of, commonality, and yeah.
Cool. Let's get back to your golf game.
It's horrific, dude. I don't think I've ever broken 90 in my life.
But you love the game. You have a passion for it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have a passion for romantic walks on a green field with four guys, of course.
Okay, all right.
Alexander is one of those people that he's good at everything, which is just so irritating. It's unbelievable. Hey, I want to ask because, things are different for you now. You're married, you're a dad. We're in businesses that almost require you to be selfish, and you have to, we're gone a lot. We are looking out for ourselves a lot. You have to go the extra mile a lot, which sometimes can neglect your family. How do you balance that now, especially in this new chapter of your life?
It's a really great question, and for me, it's straight up communication, right? Like it's just, I over communicate, right? So it's like, when I'm home, I try, I don't always succeed, but I try to do the brunt of the caretaking.
Hold on. Don't make us look bad.
Yeah.
Scratch that question.
We'll edit
Let's go
that
to the
out.
next.
We'll edit that out. Okay.
I got
A word
two-
from our sponsor.
No, keep in mind, I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. This is very different. But for me, like I try to, like, where I can, I try to go out of my way to just go a little bit more, only because I know that, for example, in about a week, I'm off to Montreal for 3 weeks, right? And it's like, my wife, like Lauren, you guys know and obviously love her. Like our wives, all of our wives, they're superheroes, man. It's like, it's incredible. And without her making that sacrifice, I won't be able to live my dreams. At the same time, and this sounds pretty brutal, but this is something that I actually brought up. Like, the one thing I would also say to any young person looking to get married to, like, if they have a dream, like, would you pick the dream or me? Right? There's always that question. Would you pick the dream or me? Or right? Some people always, there's like hypothetical. It's always the dream. And I'll tell you why. If you say no to the dream, you will be miserable and you won't be the person that person fell in love with. And Lauren has never asked me to compromise on what I love to do, because she knows it fills my soul. And of course there's stressful times, but I think that for us, it's just been about just communicating and being like, hey, I'm going to be gone for these 3 weeks. I think because it's only 3 weeks and not like 3 months, kids should probably stay in Austin. I'll try to make it back and forth if I can, or you come out this time, and we're still getting the hang of it. I think it's like it's a learning experience for sure.
So what are you working on in Montreal? What's the new thing? I gotta
Can you
know.
tell us?
Can you? It's a secret. Is it really?
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say that.
Only just because they haven't announced it yet. So it's cool though. You're gonna like it. It's
No, that's
really
bullshit.
cool.
That's bullshit, Alexander. That's bullshit, bub.
Well, maybe something you could help us out with, because I mean, you can probably tell we're all fitness buffs, and you, it's okay. You don't have to laugh so hard, but with you being such a beautiful man, and the only guest I know of, or at least especially this table, that the only one that has abs. Tell us about the training stuff, like for some of those roles that you play, and you're jacked and ripped just normally, but like workout routines are they have to be insane. Is it 90% dieting like everybody says? Is it 50-50? Does it drive you crazy? Like some of the stunts and things that you did to turn a backflips and things like that, just all the stuff. I mean, I saw so much that blew me away. I felt like such a lesser human after researching you.
Preach on that
So
a little bit.
The backflips actually, I actually grew up competing in freestyle skiing where I grew up. So that's
much like us.
So, but that's how I felt comfortable doing that. So I did have some, like, I didn't have to learn that like right away. But I will say, in terms of the training, without question, like it's not even a discussion. It is 90% diet, and anybody who tells you otherwise is wrong. And it's true because you're saying, damn it, in your gut, because it's like, it's so shitty. Because like, I love to eat, but the truth is it's impossible to outwork a bad diet. Like, it's scientifically impossible. And the problem is we are all so ignorant, including myself, about how many calories are actually in our foods and what foods. And you'd be surprised because there's some foods that you would think would have a ton of calories and don't, right? So I think it's once, like, I use this thing. This is like next, I think you can get a little carried away with this, but when I'm trying to get ready for something, I have a thing called MyFitnessPal, which is like an app on my phone. And you can type in like the food you're eating and the food you make, and it will actually tell you how many calories are in that thing, right? And then I have a food scale at home, right? And I'll actually like weigh. It's annoying, but it's like, this is what I have to do for me. It's not even for my job. Like, I genuinely just, like, when I'm feeling my best, I do my best work. So I'm just trying to be able to keep up with what I expect of myself. And I honestly, like, I just look back on like how I used to eat, and I was just like, damn, like I just learned so much about nutrition. That being said, like there are certain things for sure. It's like for heels was, I think, the hardest working out I've ever done for anything, because I had to be a really talented, like small town wrestler that could go pro. So I was like, it was savage. Like we had a trainer for that, and it was like very heavy lifting, your basic training regimen. But then we would also do a wrestling training session. So there was like a workout part of it, and there was a wrestling part of it. And the workout part was even more intense because James Harrison, Super Bowl winner and notoriously one of the most feared men in the NFL at the time when he played for the Steelers, James is also in heels with me. And James, he designed the entire gym. So it was like this unbelievable like paradise. And, we definitely went after it. And I hate putting on that much weight. Like I don't feel good. You're eating a lot. I had to do something similar for Bad Boys, and it's just like, it's a lot of eating, and a lot of heavy lifting. If you want to look like, if you want to look slimmer and more toned and like more shredded, then it's like a lot of lifting is like the best thing you can do. And then just eating in a calorie deficit, because that's the simplest thing, right? You just want to eat less than you want to expend more calories each day than you take in, right? So on average, so for me, like if I'm trying to lose weight, the rule of thumb is 2 pounds a week is usually like the most manageable. And if you try to go too intense, you actually end up ruining your diet, which I do all the time, because I try to go too fast, and then I'm like super hungry on the third day, and by like midnight I'm just eating all the ice cream in the fridge. And I do this so much, guys. It's like I'm not a pro at this at all. But
it's amazing. It's amazing how similar.
Yeah, I agree.
that program is to songwriting program. It's amazing how similar it is. I'm shocked.
Alexander, I just thought of something. And Caleb brought it up. You're always got these roles where you're shredded and you're in shape. Would you ever take a role like Brendan Fraser in The Whale and gain like 100 pounds?
Yes.
Would you
Great
do
question.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I would. I would hate it though. Like I would, obviously, like if Scorsese is like, Alexander, like we need you to put on 100 pounds. I don't know, dude. 100 pounds would be tough. If they're like,
it'd be kind of fun though for a little bit. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, but so
Cool
it's
ranch,
funny. Like Russell Crowe talked about this. Like he had to put on weight for something, and he says he's never recovered from it, ever.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, your body's like, I don't know what that does. But yeah, like honestly, I would, but it would have to be the right thing. And I would pretty much do everything I possibly could to not do it. So like if I could wear like a fat suit, and like figure out any other way. Like I don't really subscribe to, especially as I get older and stuff. And like, I'm just kind of like, I don't really subscribe to the whole, like, destroy your body for a role if you don't need to,
Seems
what I mean?
Like Christian Bale's done that a bunch of times.
Yeah. He's the person I'm thinking about as I'm saying this, and like he's one of my idols. And like it's funny because like even when I judge, a lot of times I try to look at roles sometimes like through the eyes of somebody like him. Like when things are offered to me, like obviously like I only get to do so much, but I always look to him as somebody who I really admire in his career and like what choices he's made in his career. That being said, like I did just see a video of him in his new film. I can't remember what film he's about to do, but he looks like a totally different person. But I just think now with like all the technology, it's like, do you have to, or do you have to for you, the actor? Do you have to, or are you doing this for the publicity? Or I'm not saying Christian Bale, I think, is 100% like just full actor through and through. he's doing this because he wants to be there, and I respect that so much. But I think when it comes to like actually affecting your health, I think that's a different question. Like what the long-term implications would be about doing something like that. But that's
one place that AI has stepped in. We don't have to write songs anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's so funny. What's funny, we're all going through that like experience together in a funny way right now. Actors, songwriters, musicians, writers. I always go back to this, and this is just my analogy with AI. Like, AI ain't writing South Park. It just never would happen. Like, it just never would happen. It's only writing what it like. It's politically incorrect. It's offensive. It's genius. It's all of these things. I just don't ever see that. And in the same way with songwriting, it's like, when you're hearing an AI song, and sure, like maybe it'll get super, super good, but there's something about the human connection, and that's so important to audiences. They need to know that what they are hearing isn't just another human, but it was written by another human. I think it would just ruin. I wouldn't be listening to it. I just wouldn't. It just wouldn't feel right. It just wouldn't hit me the same way. There's no way that any AI could ever understand what it's like to be a human being, to this extent.
Really can't wait to get you back to town and start writing, recording, getting that train rolling again, which is, we knew it would be challenging because your career, you're so busy, which is amazing because we've always talked about it. Remember? It was like, okay, look, we know this is going to happen, but the acting career will help the music career. And can't wait to get you back. What are you liking right now musically? Like anybody that you're like listening to right now that you're just digging that you weren't 3-4 years ago?
Wow, that's a really good question. It's hard, dude, because like music is funny. Like, I feel like so much of the songs that you love, I think, are also because they're important points of time that you love, right? So like, I'll always have this like crazy love for 90s country, and anything that doesn't sound just like that to me isn't really country anymore, right?
Right.
I swear to God, I heard a song on country radio the other day that was like, this is not country at all. Like, this is a straight up pop song. It is not country in the slightest. I can't even believe it's being played.
What was it?
I don't want to.
No.
It's just us. It's just us here.
Nope. You gotta say it.
I can't even remember actually. I really didn't.
That's how you know he's a good actor. Perfect.
I'm actually a terrible liar. But
Obviously.
I can't remember honestly. But regardless, like, I think that there's this. It's strange to me because I feel like, okay, here's somebody who I think is doing a really amazing job. Like, I'm loving like the stuff that Riley Green is putting out. Like, I think he's putting out really, really great. Like, Mississippi and Me is an amazing song. I know that was like a while back, but like, and he put out a more recent one that I really liked. That, by the way, that's not to say that I don't love, like, I love a lot of Hardy stuff too. I think Hardy's like super talented. There's an argument that like you could say some of his stuff isn't as, but like, I love his writing, and I love Wallen's stuff. I gotta say, like, I am so blown away by like Luke Combs, because I feel like how he's writing this is just like, he's so authentically himself. And like, I love like, South on Ya. Like, I love that song. I listen to that song all the time. I even though like listen to a song that Keith Urban did with, Breland called like Throw It Back. And like, listen, that's got like a trap track on it, and I still have a blast listening to it. So I'm not saying that like, I don't love that too. But to me, like 90s Dirks in like the heyday where I heard like a little bluegrass influence in like a mainstream country hit, or like Tip It On Back, like those songs to me, like,
good
I know.
There we go.
Yeah, but that was like one of my favorite songs ever, and these guys wrote it, and it's like crazy, true. And I'm not just saying that; that's just so true. And it was such a big part of my life. And I love, like, Eric Church just released another song recently that I actually just heard today, and I really liked it. So I gotta say also, like, the women are kind of coming up really strong too. Like, there's some really cool new female artists who I actually can't name, but I'm liking a lot of the songs I'm hearing.
We just had this conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Keep saying that. Yes.
We literally just had this conversation.
Yeah, no, we did.
But here's a woman who I think is just killing it in her lane, and just I'm loving it, is Lainey. And Lainey played at there's this. We actually had to sign an NDA for this, so I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about what this thing is called. But all I'm going to say is, in Austin, Texas, there's this like backyard music festival, and like there's like maybe 90 people there, and this like uber billionaire guy throws it, and he invited me and Lauren, so we went, and Lainey was playing. So I texted Lainey and I was like, "You're not going to believe this! Like, I'm here." And went backstage and hung out with her, and she's just like, I just feel like she's doing it so well, and she just with such grace, and I love her, and I just want to see her continue to just fly, because she deserves all of it. And it was just so nice to spend that time with her. So I think there's still really great music out there, and I think I love when people take risks. Like, I do love that. I am missing a little bit of, like, I don't know, there's something I'm missing. Like, like I love like that earlier Chesney stuff too. And like, I wish I heard a little bit more of the summer bangers, that aren't just, I just wish there was a little bit more. I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something like that I'm missing. And Jason, to his credit, is always Jason. And I love that, because it's like, this is the same guy I grew up listening to. And artists are supposed to evolve, of course. And like, every artist evolves in their own way. But like, I just think that there's an authenticity to him that is why he's been able to have, and why Tully and Kurt, and collectively, all of them have been able to have such long, incredible careers. It's just like this authenticity to who you are. And now there's also just so much noise. So it's hard. It is hard for artists. And for me, the only reason I get so excited is like, my goal in country music above everything is going to be to just keep doing it. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, whatever comes of it. Like, I want to go back to Nashville, be with Tully and Kurt in a recording studio. Like, that's like so much fun to me. And like, writing, like, that is the win for me. Right. So, and I do miss playing like festivals. I will say, like, I played Watershed Festival, and it was like, it was the biggest adrenaline hit I've ever had in my entire life. It was so cool. Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting? I was thinking about the musical journey of your career, and I look back on it, and I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but we start making a record right before COVID. Okay. Had a game plan. COVID happens, and then the whole landscape changes. The way it's done. Like, we were right in the middle of when that was happening. So it went from like, let's make a, album, go on a radio tour, attack it this way. That stops. It goes to all streaming, which is weird. It felt like mostly streaming. And it kind of came on us right at that point. And we were kind of a victim of a couple things, where it's like the first album, like, I'd say most of those songs were really authentic to you, and we kind of get stalled. And then I kind of think like we're like kind of chasing, okay, what should we do now? Because then things change. Like, Zach Bryan came around. Remember, it's got real acoustic heavy. I was like, okay, what are we missing? Or do we got to change what we're doing? And looking back on it, what we did to start with was really you. The first batch of songs was, that is you. It's just crazy how, when COVID happened, I didn't realize it before, but it was right when we were really starting to focus on your sound. It's tricky. You know, when things change like that, it went from radio tour to what will stream. You know,
well, there's a whole other element to this that I needed. This, like, you know, this was I'm very great, like, because like also right after this, like I had kids, right? So like, and then my work was like crazy. I had the busiest year of my life last year. So like for me, like it was kind of the perfect storm for us from a music standpoint, because like I really got a chance to step back and like look at this from like a distance. And what I came back with is you, and we've always said this. This is a funny thing. We were never wrong. It's like, you just cannot chase trends. You just can't. And like, it's so much, it's like surfing, man. It's like, if you want to catch the wave, you wait for the wave, right? And you position yourself in that spot, but you don't try to chase a wave that's already passed or that's going to pass, you know? And it's like, for me, and again, that's if you want to have some sort of success, right? Or if that's even your goal. Like, my whole perception of country music has changed even with this time being away, because I'm like, when I come back, the songs that we're going to pick are not going to be because we think this is a number one at country radio. We're going to pick the best songs that we want to listen to, right? And it's like, I think if that's the motto you go into, it's like and that's what we did with our first album, right? It was like, these are and everybody who listened to it, who I talked to, are just like, they love it because it reminds them of that kind of music, right? And it's like, this is, you know, and I'm so proud that we did that and we stuck to our guns, because the one thing I never expected in music, and this is a little different from like my business and acting, is navigating all the things that don't have anything to do with music, like the business side of things, right? Because there are so many people, and there's a similarity here when it comes to movies, but it's like, there's no way anybody will ever really figure it out, because you have executives in a movie studio who love movies. Like they got into this business because they genuinely love movies. Like they aren't some corporate, like they love movies. Similarly, that you have people at the label who love music. Like, that's true. At the same time, in my world, this studio is a publicly traded company, and they need to answer to their investors, which means they need to make money, right? And their job is to find things that make money. Best case scenario, you get to tell your art and make money. How do you do that? Well, to me, what I've realized is that if you're trying to chase trends over and over again, you're probably going to lose. But if you're original and you're true to you, and the same with filmmaking, those are usually the ones that stick out. And I think it's no scenario that, like, Zach Bryan, to your point that you mentioned, like, stuck out. I also think it's like a time and place. It was at a time where we weren't hearing a lot of that. Right? Like, there wasn't a lot of like that kind of like acoustic, you know, like folk music was like, I love folk music, right? So much. And I felt like it was a breath of fresh air for audiences. And I think that probably really helped. And yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to get back, guys. I really miss you. And like, I can't wait to be back in Nashville. I love it there, and I love the people there. And it's such a special place. And the country music community to me is unlike anything else in the world. It's one of the few businesses where I've seen most people want everyone to win. Like, it's an amazing community of like people just rooting for each other because they all love this one thing.
Well, Alexander, I've never heard you sing or anything like that, but I would love to get in the room and spend time with you writing, just because the guy that you are, just this last hour that we've talked, because you can just tell you're just an amazing guy. It just comes out of you. And like you were talking about the, you know, fitness, you know, 90% being diet or what you're eating, you know, and I've always thought this, I don't know if it's 90% or not, but a high percentage is just being likable, you know, on a set or in a writing room or wherever. There's just a lot of success comes from just simply being likable.
I'm not giving up my Cool Ranch Doritos.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
I'm not doing it.
You know,
I'm just not doing it. I don't care what Alex says.
Dude, you're a scratch golfer. You're killing it, dude.
He's doing fine.
Right.
But you're right, Kalo. And Tully and I have known this for a while now. And, hopefully our listeners, if they didn't know any of Alexander behind the scenes, it shows them he's a good human being. He's just a solid human being. We're lucky to be friends with you, buddy. We're proud of you. Mm-hmm. And like you said, we can't wait till you get back to Nashville too. We got work to do.
We got work to do.
Man.
Yeah, dude.
When are you moving to Nashville? Aren't you going to move to Nashville?
Also, I just wanted to say, I so want to take you up on that. I would love to be there. And moving to Nashville, it's a really good thing that you brought up. So it's funny. So for the time, for our life, Austin made a lot of sense just in the time that happened. I think if I was 25, I would have been in Nashville in a heartbeat at that time. But I think right now it'll be back and forth until, listen, if things are really busy and it's I need to be there, we'll figure that out. And I was funny. I was just talking to my wife today. I was like, we could totally live in Nashville. I love Nashville. It's amazing. But I would love to hang out with you guys, and I'd love to watch you golf. I don't know if I'm ready to golf with you. But.
Not today, you wouldn't.
Hey, you could help us out. It's all us against him,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, it's so great having you on, dude. Really appreciate it, and we love you, and we always talk about it. We haven't seen you in way too long now, but we always jump right back into where we left off, and we'll get back in the studio and just crank it up, So
Absolutely. Alexander, we love you, my friend.
Love you, brother.
Next time we see you, we need it not on a TV screen or movie screen. We need you right here in the room with us.
100%.
Well, when we cut the sides, we'll do it again, and we'll come in and hang out. Be great.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I already got 3 song titles from you. So you're not going to be a part of it until you get here.
Okay, done. Change a word, get a third. I'll be there in a heartbeat.
We made a career out of it.
All right. We thank you for being here. We thank everybody for watching through it.
I love you guys.
Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
All right.
This is
Thanks,
the Try
guys.
That in a
Thanks for
Small
having
Town
me on.
podcast, and that's Alexander Ludwig.
Subscribe, share, rate, and check out our merch at trythatinasmalltown.com.